Jordan is the biggest hater of Caitlin Clark I have ever
Nah,
seen in my life.
that's
Like
not true.
That's crazy.
You think the Twitter's bad, you think the videos are
It's
bad.
not true.
Jordan is a huge hater of Caitlin Clark, and that has to be said. All right, now
We'll
I
Can
address
we
it
say
later.
the
appreciate
clips
you're
were
a
dissing?
diplomat.
We'll
Hey,
address it
you're a
later,
wordsmith.
Grossman. But we got to move
They
on.
felt it did
We
both
got
of
to
them.
move on. We have to move on. Trado, what's second topic on the docket? I don't have time for his Caleb Williams stuff no more. What we got for me, man?
All right, we're gonna let the Bears go down. Next thing, we gotta talk about Caitlin Clark, dog. I mean, she got out here. She completely changed the program. They have 36 of their 40 games now are national coverage. I saw videos of the Indiana Fever having private flights, like, and then you see like Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, like all of them all over all of the ads, all the commercials, like all the national games. I feel like it's either one of those three playing. And then you see on different parts of social media that like the vets are like saying like, oh, this wasn't going to happen in the league. Like they weren't going to be able to play how they did in college.
Mm-hmm.
You see videos of like, you got the Angel Reese video the other day of her getting like slammed to the ground by somebody. And it's like, you didn't see that before. Or you have like Caitlin Clark will be running down playing defense. They're not even calling out the screen. She gets destroyed by screens. Has any of you guys seen it? I turned it on one the other weekend. Bro, when I tell you she was full speed running, you didn't hear nobody call the screen out. It's dead by the screen. And half court. Like, how is that even happening?
Okay.
Like, what do you think about this whole situation? Like, what do you think about how they're getting treated? Like, how the rookies are stepping on the scene, how they're handling it, all of that. What you think, bro? I know you're gonna come at me from the psychology standpoint,
Nah.
inside out. Let me see what you got for me.
Okay, I'm gonna be on my soapbox for a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it very concise. So the thing of it is that two things can be true. And I think that's what the whole consensus of this thing, what we need to have in mind when I say the things that I'm about to say. The point of it was that with any transition into anything, there is going to be a learning curve. And I think with Caitlin Clark, there was a learning curve, right? So we see she's not shooting the best percentages, right? I think she's shooting like 30%. And I mean, that's
Right.
happening for Angel Reese as well. So again, it's just a rookie thing. The thing about the discussion that I don't like, I do think there is a tiny bit of pieces of jealousy from a minority of people. However, I think the overall consensus is that, you know what, like I wouldn't say it's unfair. And I think she gets all the praise that she deserves. Correct. I think she's earning all the dollars that she should get.
Yeah.
Correct. I think what ends up happening is, and I think y'all hear me talk about this a lot, is I think it's good to give your just due credit. And then there's people that take it too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember there was just this discourse of like, oh, she's going to come in the WNBA and just dominate off rip. Well, she's going to the worst team. You get what I'm saying? And she's a guard. So there's going to be
Right.
a learning curve. There's going to be all these things. I think the NIL money, I think and this is the nastiest part. And this is where I'll end my conversation on. There has been this talk about, well, what's good for her is if everybody just kind of lets her rock out so everybody gets, or there's more eyes on the WNBA. And there has shown trajectory that there has been more eyes on the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. Now she has taken it to another level. That's not me slighting that, right? She brings in her
Right.
own huge audience in herself. But in saying that, though, these people are competitors. You get one life. So to think that people are going to take a step back and not have this competitive nature against her, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I, as a competitor, look at my contemporary and, like, quote unquote, for the lack of a better term, kiss her ass because this is the praise that she's getting? You know what I'm saying? I want to come out and attack her. I want to see how good you really are. And I'm pretty sure from her perspective, she wants that as well. I'm pretty sure she's super competitive.
Yeah,
So I
like
just
she
hate,
wants that challenge. Yeah.
yeah, so I just hate the discourse. It happens in every sport. Every rookie gets checked like this. I think I mean, do some of these things kind of worry me? No, because I think this happens to all stars that come in, you know what I'm saying, when they transition to the pros. And I think she'll figure
Right.
it out. I think she'll
They did the
dominate the
same
W.
thing to Lonzo.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I just think that I don't like the discourse behind it. And quite frankly, there are other women that are doing extraordinary things. I've talked about the Asia Wilsons before, the DeWanna Bonners, the Alyssa Thomases. Even before that time, there was the Skylar Diggins, there was the Maya Moores, who was my WNBA and women's basketball coach,
Right.
Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart. that's killing it and stuff like that. So I say that all to say she's going to
Makes
learn
you
it.
being culturally
Yeah,
aware of
bro.
the W.
I've been watching the W for a while. I love women basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for us, I think we just need to take a step back, let her learn. She has all the momentum. Don't overdo it, and understand that criticism is going to come with the position that she's in. Because when you build somebody up like this high to be your quote unquote GOAT in a lot of regards, I mean, you understand the pressures that's going to be upon that. So I just hope that we give her the space to learn and understand that there is some learning for her to do. And there's other great players that she's playing against, and we need to give them their credit as well.
I like that you came from that point of view, because I was watched the video the other day and it was talking about how with all of the more publicity that WNBA is getting, sometimes you get that aspect where it's like they're outside looking in, like they haven't really been watching. They just see a couple clips and then they instantly think like they're all out to get it. Mm-hmm. Like I like how you came about. It's more about competing. It's not as deep as some people make it seem. Like I feel like sometimes we like to make like cultural points about like race wars and like things like that, all trying to take that out of just simple basketball and like simple sports and things like that, and that true competitive nature. Right. Hale, what do you think about like? Do you think that they're bringing in too much cultural things and too many aspects of like trying to put other people down, or do you think that people just don't even understand the competitive nature just because there's all these new fans pouring into the sport because they see Caitlin Clark shooting 40-foot threes?
I think it's just what happens when you have an influx of eyes watching you. You know, that's just going to happen. It's going to be an acclimation period where people are going to figure out, is it for them? Is it not? Everyone's going to have their little narratives and what they would like to say because something big, something new, and it gets the views, you know, same reason as we're talking about it now. Now, the cool thing is that we've been talking about this for about 2 years. Whenever the first time Iowa and LSU faced each other, we're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the future right here. Like, they're going to be big if they keep this up. But I think the first thing I'll say before I get into my point is that I'm very fortunate for me and Jordan's group chat that watches our episode. And it'd be terrible if I didn't mention Jordan is the biggest hater of Caitlin Clark I've ever seen in my life. Like, you think the Twitter's bad, you think the videos are bad.
Not true.
Jordan is a huge hater of Caitlin Clark, and that has to be said. All right, now
we'll address it later.
You're a diplomat.
We'll address it later.
You're a wordsmith. You know how to talk. You know how to say the right things, and I believe you believe that. But I want to point out the stuff that he says in our group chat is absolutely insane. Like, he doesn't think they should put the camera on her at all.
That's not what I said.
They should just turn off the lights.
It's like a Taylor Swift.
I've
never said that, Trey. But I'm gonna let him rock out. I got something for you. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
Okay.
Hey, you wanted to go first, so
you good.
To continue my point, though. Yeah. To continue my point, though, what I would say is, and you know, just a word of advice or something in general for the league is that this is a good lesson on personal branding, right? So you have all these new people coming in and everyone's spinning their narratives, but like, what is your personal brand? How are you going to market this in a way to, like everyone's talking about, for the next 10, 15 years, you benefit off of this, right? So I think about this with like the Magic and Bird thing. It's like there were haters. Like the internet wasn't around, but there were some super haters back in those days. Like there was only Celtics fans and only Laker fans and all of that stuff. And what the league do is the league kind of just like WWE, like they just made a full storyline out of it. It's like, oh, here comes Magic Johnson, high flying, making tricks, all this stuff versus the prim and proper, do it the right way Celtics coming into town. You know, like they did a great job of branding it to where all the new people coming in had a side to pick. It was fun for everyone. It was exciting. There were arguments, of course. There were crazy things. There was cultural differences. All that's a given. But personal branding, how do you take all these views and then maximize what you're getting out of it? And that would be what I would say about the WNBA. It's like, whether we think it's good or bad, a lot of eyes are on it.
Yeah,
so what are you going to do with all these eyes on you? And I would say, I think it would help out because there's this stigma that everyone's out to get Caitlin Clark. And there's legitimate reasons. There's some reasons that, like you said, are just jealousy. I would say from WNBA perspective, I think they should do a better job of saying, like, hey, we're a professional league just like everyone else. We don't give people special treatment. We're not easy about it, but at the same time, we're not out to get anyone. It's like, actually, this is what
Yeah.
we're all about. These are the legends before her. This is what the game has done for all these women. If they did a better job, at least maybe I haven't seen it, but if they did a better job of that branding aspect to say the bigger fans, the Jordans, the me's that are actually starting to watch games, and people will start to explain, it's like, oh, what Caitlin Clark reminds me of this player right here. And then they start talking about, little things like that to actually get the brand out, get
Yeah.
the history, get the culture out. And then I think that would help them retain their fans through this hype right now that they're getting.
Before
Yeah, it would kind of make everybody would like research into that too. I feel like they would be more informed about the league as a whole if that was the case. Everybody was just comparing to these people because they would be like, well, who is this person? Why don't I know who this is?
And before we go into the last topic, I want to not offer a rebuttal because he just said that first and foremost, the second part of his conversation was really great, and I agree. The first part was complete BS, and I'm not going to really do any rebuttals of that. I just want to make this quick point. My quick point before I transition to Trey is that I think, and this is what I said to one of our friends. I'm not going to say his name, but the one that I argue with about this topic all the time is that I think there's unnecessary. It's already a pressure cooker when you already, or this pressure cooker when you already in the league, right? So I think it's unfair to her. One, if you put all of this, now it's a responsibility that she has because she's great. So it's one in itself. Mm-hmm. But then when you put the whole brand behind her, and that's what I said to him is like, you can't make her the sole entity because if she fails, then that crashes the whole league. So it's like we put all our chips on her and she doesn't do what people perceive that she will do, then it doesn't grow the game. And then I think, I'm not saying that the camera shouldn't have been on her. I'm just saying to grow the game, if that is the true intention, because some people's intention is to cover her. But I'm saying if the intention is to grow the game, cover her a lot, but also trickle in other people that are playing great so people are able to expand their palette about the knowledge of other players so that they know, oh, besides Caitlin, I know Asia Wilson. I didn't know she was dominating like this, so I'm coming in, or Kelsey Plum, or these other people. So I think that if that is the intention to grow the game, I think you have to cover other people's. Like you said, branding is important. And that is the next step for, I think, the W is to continue to brand their stars in a better way so that people aren't just tuning in for Caitlin Clark and her greatness. You should tune in for that. But now I'm tuning in for other people that are doing great things as well. But I'm off my soapbox. Trade up.